Up in the Biz, a 2023 documentary focusing on the life and death of Biz Markie through a collage of celebrity interviews, rare film reenactments, and playful animation on an artist who left an indelible mark in the history of hip hop. Directed and written by Sasha Jenkins. This was the choice of Lynn Webb here on our first week of Doc to School. Lynn, what do you got to say about All Up in the Biz?
I got a few things I want to say about this movie. I watched it for the first time. Now I guess it maybe have been a year ago, but I caught it just randomly.
Annoyed you didn't tell me to watch it, but go ahead.
I'm pretty sure I told you about
You
it.
probably didn't. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, but it's a documentary that was done not long after Biz Markie passed away, complications of diabetes, which is unfortunately a story that is as old as time.
Yeah, oh yeah.
For people and for black men.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And what I appreciated watching it for the first time and again watching it this time is if you're a fan of Biz Markie and his career and how he started in hip hop, he came out in the days of hip hop. It's kind of like it wasn't the earliest days of hip hop, but hip hop was becoming a force.
Yeah,
it was showing its staying power by the time that Biz Markie started to populate, and it was a home to it was slowly developing from just hip hop into hip hop genres. So you had your battle MCs, you had your groups, and there was a lane for someone to just be funny, to just be out there and just have a good time on a microphone. And I don't mean have a good time, just be, hyping up the party, like the old school DJ or anything like that. Just being 100% just having fun on the microphone, right? I think probably the earliest example of this, or probably the most popular example from pre-Biz Markie, was probably the Fat Boys.
Yeah.
To me,
Sure.
A group who I think is actually overdue to be, mentioned here on the Micheaux Mission.
Disorderly's coming soon.
And Biz Markie follows right in line with the Fat Boys, because the Fat Boys famously featured the human beatbox, and Biz Markie got his start as a beatboxer. And he would get on the microphone and he would just have a ball. He would just have fun. You could not smile listening to a Biz Markie album.
Sure.
Any of his records, any of his songs. And watching this documentary, you could not smile at how much this felt like Biz Markie made it, because it is light. It is even though it does deal with some serious topics, like his final year of life. There is a lightness to this documentary. There is creativity to this documentary. It flows from archival footage to music sound clips to animation to puppetry to cartooning, and none of it ever feels out of place. It feels seamless in its editing, in its flow. And while I don't think this documentary is some like hard hitting, retrospective on his life, it feels like you're getting the genuine story.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Absolutely.
You know, like, are there some questions that it maybe doesn't dig into? There's one or two that you could point to, and I'll point to a couple of them, but you never feel like this is trying to rewrite the narrative of who this man was. Biz Markie, you know, was a person who rose to fame from the early days of hip hop, but rose out of a very troubled youth, you know, and that he famously held tight to his vest, you know, would not give into a little bit. Lost his mom at an early age. Became like went into the foster system, that lived with another family who basically raised him and encouraged his creativity. He was someone who fell into a joy of cartoons and comedy and used that as a deflection from the life that he was living, from the more darker edges of his life, and used that as a way of making connections with the people in his life, whether it be his foster brother and sisters, with all of his friends who all are in this documentary. I mean, the friends that he grew up with, his foster siblings, and each of them has interesting, loving stories to tell about Biz Markie, growing up with him, how he was filled with laughter, he was filled with joy, and he was 100% authentically him. He didn't put on airs for anyone. And all of those stories just start bubbling up. He's someone who finds hip hop and finds his way in hip hop and says, like, oh, this can be another way where I can exercise my creativity. I can you know, show who I am. And it's true of a lot of comedians. They say a lot of comedians can be so funny because they use that funny to hide their pain.
Right.
And you could see that that's what Biz Markie was doing. He was being this outrageous, gregarious fellow to kind of like hide some of the pain from his upbringing, the losing of his parents. You could sense it in him. You could sense the connections that he made with people was, you know, and how he held on tight to those connections. How he fostered those relationships. His relationship with Big Daddy Kane. How he met Big Daddy Kane as a young rapper and told Big Daddy Kane, like, yo, I'm trying to get out here in hip hop, and when I do, I'm going to come and I'm going to lift you up with me. And Big Daddy Kane, and I've seen Big Daddy Kane interviewed maybe a dozen times.
Yeah.
And in every interview,
That's
regardless of what
That's
is
right.
going, he always name checks. I am here because of Biz Markie.
That's right.
Because Biz Markie came back for me and brought me up, man. And Kane is not the only one. Roxanne Shante in this talks about her connection and how she got on because Biz got on. Rakim talks about their connection. You know, the other big thing about this documentary from the first time that I saw it was seeing Rakim. And if everyone knows, if you love hip hop, you know Rakim, and he's almost seen as like one of the gods of hip hop.
That's the God.
That is the God, right?
God MC, yeah.
So much so, and I think he lives that persona, that he never takes it off.
No.
But in this documentary, to see Rakim not only just reminisce about, you know, meeting Biz Markie in school, elementary school.
Yeah, yeah.
Elementary school in the lunchroom and Biz Markie doing the beatbox and Rakim rhyming in elementary school and talking about the friendship that developed between them. And then to see Rakim, the God MC, fight back tears.
It's actually disconcerting.
Talking about his relationship with Biz Markie. To see Big Daddy Kane fight back tears.
Yeah.
Talking about his relationship with Biz Markie. And if none of that hits you in this documentary, to see them actually then, two other things. There is this story, Biz Markie, you know, he brought up Kane, he got with Marley Marl, put him out there, he worked with Marley Marl, one of the originators of the Juice Crew. If you know your hip hop history, look it up. And from there, he meets all the guys with the Juice Crew, including Master Ace. Mm-hmm. And Master Ace wants to do a track with Biz Markie, me, and the Biz. Comes up with this track, does a test track like, here, and then, Biz, this is how I see you sounding on this track. Master Ace is walking with Marley Marl. Marley Marl and Biz have a falling out because Biz, not, you know, don't let the look fool you. You know, this big, gregarious, you know, over the top person, not an idiot. Recognizes that, hey, I'm producing with Marley Marl, saves up his money, gets his own production equipment with his partner Cool V, and says, hey, we can build up our tracks ourselves and then take them to Marley, and now they can be co-productions. Mm-hmm. Marley, he ain't having that. Because Marley's, you know, trade, his stock and trade at that time is that he is doing Marley Marl tracks. And Marley Marl is not a rapper, was not like a party DJ. He was a music producer. So that
Marley Marl synthesized it.
Right. That was his stock and trade. So he did not want to share any type of credit. So that caused a rift between him and Biz Markie. Master Ace has this track he wants to do with Biz, but because of the rift with Marley, it can't get done. Master Ace, he releases the track anyway, with him doing the Biz part. There's a music video to it, done with a puppet of Biz Markie.
But it's not Biz's voice.
It's not Biz's voice. It's
him imitating Biz.
It's him imitating Biz, and like he mentions here in the documentary, that is because the track that it was put out was the sample track that he created to just show what Biz would sound like, to get an idea of like how he saw the track sounding. But it got released. There was a music video. It was a single. Mm-hmm. We're talking about back in the late 80s, early 90s. We're not talking about something that was released last week. It then, of course, widened the rift, not only with Marley Marl, but with all of the Juice Crew, except Big Daddy Kane and a couple of others who Biz, because as you will learn in this documentary, Biz knew everyone.
Yeah.
But with Master Ace, it severed that relationship totally. And Master Ace never apologized for it. He never apologized for it over the years. And it probably is one of those things, maybe egos get in the way. Master Ace, you know, he was not long for like prominence in the rap game. So maybe his star started to, you know, his luster fell off of him. So Biz probably didn't even care after a certain point. But in this documentary, Master Ace takes time to do an apology to Biz Markie. Some may say that it might come off a little hollow, a little bit, why now? So what now? Me, the way that they do it, with him doing it to the same Biz Markie puppet that he had, well, it's actually not the same puppet. But there is a Biz Markie puppet that is representing Biz Markie in this documentary in a loving way, and I'll go on that about in a second. but him doing a little poem / rap to Biz Markie in this documentary, I actually was touched by it because I actually felt that he was being sincere in that moment. I didn't think that he was playing for the camera. I think he was being sincere to the moment. So that actually struck with me. But then the other part, and I talk about this puppet that represents Biz Markie. Outside of that one scene, this puppet is only seen in a hospital bed because they do interstitial recreations of the last year of Biz Markie's life. When he had a stroke due to suffering from diabetes, he was in the hospital. Actually, we learned from 2 different hospitals over time. And they recreate moments in the hospital room with Biz and his wife, Tara Hall, who is actually one of the co-producers of this documentary and is featured in the documentary. And I think that the reproductions of those scenes are, first of all, I think it's a brilliant concept to do that as a way of kind of trying to bring him actually as much as you can into this moment. And in doing so, you know, at the time when he was in the hospital, there's some footage, some pictures that she took of him in the hospital.
Sure.
They splice some of that in. They splice moments that he shared with his stepdaughter, Tara's daughter, which I think is a loving moment as well. But I thought that was brilliantly done. I thought it was a nice way of having his voice be heard. I thought it was also a nice way of her voice and her point of view being heard in this documentary that is first and foremost a exploration of her husband's life.
Yes.
And I think it shows a lot of the highs, but it shows enough of the lows. It speaks to some of the warts that he had. And I thought it was a very sweet way of showing their relationship. Because she spoke of their relationship as a loving relationship that was born of friendship.
Right.
Which is, you know, should be the building block of any friendship.
Sure.
Any lasting relationship. And I thought that was very sweetly done. Very nice touch. I thought that the recollections, the story of his rise, to see how big he became because of Just a Friend, which is a track that if you put it on right now, that first note, everyone knows what the song is. Everyone starts singing it. And I mean people our age. I mean people my daughter's age. I mean people my grandson's age. They know that song. They know the original of that song because it has become one of the timeless treasures of music in general, not just black music. And I think that this documentary gets it right. It places him in his right space in time in hip hop. He is, we said it, he is indeed an icon of hip hop.
Absolutely.
Because he was just him, and he could do every part of hip hop. In his later years, he became, you know, the black celebrity DJ. And my God, he was it. He was, you saw him everywhere. He didn't want to be the old man in the club, but now he was the man spinning the music and making people get down and party and having a great time. And you knew every place he went, he was having a great time. Again, where there's some questions that weren't answered, maybe you wish that there would have been the opportunity to maybe dig a little deeper into his childhood, but the opportunity wasn't there. But I think enough of it is there. I think his foster siblings show enough.
Sure.
Do I think that there maybe is a little bit more to the breakup with Marley Marl than is explored here? I think so.
Of course there is.
But I think enough of it gets out, enough that I care about.
Yeah.
You know? And do I think there is, towards the end, of course, words given to how he lived, the reason why he fell into the state that he did in his last couple of years. Could there have been maybe more exploration on that? Perhaps. All told, I thought it was enough there. I thought it was still honest. We talk about a lot of times when the family is involved with a production, sometimes these documentaries ring hollow because of it, ring of just vanity projects. I think his wife being so involved in this maybe gives you that fear of it. But I think Sasha Jenkins, who was such an extraordinary documentarian and journalist himself, kept this film honest. The mission statement of this film to explore fully Biz Markie's life kept it honest, and because of that, I think this is, in the world of hip-hop documentaries, it's one of the best ever.
Well, look, I think starting there, this tension that you feel when the family is involved, and the implication is that they don't want the subject to have be shown in a bad light. It seems like it was not that big of a deal with Biz Markie, because this whole project is a testament to the kind of man that he was. As you said, you have people in Biz Markie's life from the very beginning to the very end who love this man. Like you talk about his foster siblings and people from when he was young in Long Island, but all the way to the end. You got Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
You have both Method Man and Ghostface Killer. Like, by the time Wu-Tang Clan becomes famous, he is an icon. So everyone seems to have loved him. I loved every moment of this documentary. And this is the type of project that, frankly, I'm very passionate about, and we have talked about over the years. Like, we are in this moment where we are writing the legacy of hip hop. Like, we are actually writing this narrative, we are writing this history, and it is so bizarre to see in front of our eyes as people who were there, the shaping of narratives, the nipping, the tucking, the this is, the that's.
Yeah. And
Biz Markie represents a period of hip hop history that I think is still relatively untouched. Like I think the early kind of Cold Crush, Sugar, like there's a great Sugar Hill Gang documentary, you know, I Want My Name Back. And I do think even something like the show The Get Down, which touches on a little bit of this very early part of hip hop. And then we've talked about the West Coast part with you know, Straight Outta Compton, and they did. But this kind of pocket, as you said, this isn't the beginning of hip hop, but that mid to late 80s pocket is relatively untouched with the Juice Crew. And I just loved how much sheer information is in this documentary from primary sources.
Yeah, people that were there.
Frankly, I think there are like 3 or 4 documentaries that you could pull from this. So you talk about like the Great Juice Crew documentary is one that's waiting to be made. His relationship with Dapper Dan.
Oh yeah.
And the Shirt Kings, and you talk about the clothing. As you mentioned, all of these MCs that were involved with this. And it was beautiful. Like, it was beautiful watching all of these men, all of these women pay tribute to someone who, at one point in the documentary, someone referred to him as the Forrest Gump of hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
Where he really was.
Yep, he's
there.
everywhere.
He really was everywhere. And again, I just loved the sheer information. I have to say, in full disclosure, I was embarrassed as I was watching. I learned this afternoon. I didn't know that wasn't Biz on Me and the Biz.
Really?
I learned this afternoon that was not Biz Markie on Me and the Biz.
I always knew that.
I never knew that. Like, I always liked Master Ace. Like, I like Master Ace. I always knew, I never really kind of hear things from Marley Marl, but I love the fact that this is documented. Like, this is there. As you said, Big Daddy Kane has always been very vocal about how important Biz Markie was to his career. But I love in a Biz Markie project, Kane gets this opportunity to talk, man. As you mentioned Rakim and Roxanne Shante and Marley Marl even, and his contribution. And this is the exact type of project that I want to see more and more of. Where again, while, because unfortunately, this unfortunately has been my mantra for years. I think when black men die that are younger than 40, it is shocking and surprising and sad. But if you are a black man and you die over the age of 40, nobody is ever that surprised. Like, it's sad, but no one is surprised. And we went through that period over the past 2-3 years. Like, it was a little shocking seeing Trugoy on here from De La Soul, and and Fife, and the Biz Markie, where there was that minute. It was like, damn, are any of these brothers going to hit 60? Like, there were all these brothers dying. So, unfortunately, not to be morbid, I think we got to get these stories. And you got to get these stories from the actual participants who were there. So, I think the critique that we oftentimes had, just to circle back to what you said about these projects where the estate is involved. I think the estate being involved in this particular project really just opened up the vault.
Yeah.
So that people said, well, his wife gave the clearance. His wife gave it her blessing. So now I want to come and talk about it. And that was amazing. The archival footage,
man.
All of as you said, Biz was a collector, and Biz is one of the most famous. It's an ongoing conversation between me and you, and something me and my brother have talked about for years. Like this notion that a lot of these MCs, and certainly the MCs of this period, are just big old nerds. Like, the overlap between blurs and MCs in the 90s MC world is a circle.
Yepper.
So Biz was always almost the patron saint of this. So, talking about a documentary, I want to see a documentary about his collection. Like, I've heard whispers of the Biz Markie collection over the years, including our friend. I feel like the last time we talked to Scheme, like Scheme was talking about it, like this. So even that, where she opens up the vault, so you see all this stuff, you forget. Again, just the Forrest Gump of it. I love the conversation around the lawsuit.
Yeah.
The sampling lawsuit with Alone Again.
Yeah, Gilbert Sullivan.
Gilbert Sullivan, which I never knew that detail until that. Like, I always knew that this was like, I knew the Turtles lawsuit opened the door
Against De La.
against De La Soul, and then that was but then I always knew that the Biz Markie lawsuit in a lot of ways was an even bigger lawsuit. But I never knew the details of asking for permission and they said no.
Yeah.
And you just did it anyway. So,
or that it really was just ultimately it was just nickel and dime.
It was nickel and dime. But see, these are the type of stories that you need to hear them from the people that were actually there.
Yeah, shout out to Ralph McDaniels.
Look, Ralph McDaniels is there. You know, talking about, well, there actually is a video, a Ralph McDaniels documentary. But
yeah.
But again, if we love this thing called hip hop, like if you say you love it, like if you just want to dance and you know, talk and this, that, and the other, and that's fine. But if you love this thing, like we talk about, we love jazz and we love R&B and we love country music and we love the blues and we love gospel, we need more documents like this that treat it seriously.
Yes, that's the
thing. And with this sort of reverence and this sort of attention to detail. And again, you talk to the participants who were actually there. And I think this documentary does this better than the vast majority of hip hop documentaries that I've ever seen. I have to say, the bit with the puppets standing in it, I don't know if I liked it.
The one with Master Ace?
No. Actually,
so just in the hospital bed.
Right. This conceit of him in the hospital bed with the puppet. I was like, I understood it.
It didn't work for you.
I didn't necessarily need it. Like, I thought this was a part where, you know, appropriately enough, this is his wife. This is his widow. If that is the price I had to pay for the rest of it, that was a price that I would pay double.
Okay.
But that didn't necessarily work for me.
Okay. What did you think about the Master Ace part?
I loved it.
Okay.
Well, like I said, I somehow, this bit of hip hop history complete. Like I again this afternoon, I found out that wasn't him on Me in the Biz.
But how'd you feel about him?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
His apology.
Look, man, look. We talked about Rakim crying. We talked about Kane breaking down. Tracy Morgan almost like
Tracy Morgan, who needs to do a Biz Markie biopic.
Look, how about that? Again, I think I think as black men in the autumn of our years, hopefully not the winter, but in the autumn, I love this conversation. Like, I love this showing love to one. I love this giving flowers. I love this acknowledgement of what we mean to each other. So, as someone who's now known about this Master Ace Biz Markie thing for 3 hours, I was very affected by it. Like I thought Master Ace was very vulnerable. I thought he was honest about what happened. I have to say, my feeling, I've always had complicated feelings about Marley Marl. I think my feelings have grown more complicated since this afternoon.
because the whispers have been out there.
It's complicated. Right, but I had heard some of but like I think maybe I heard a couple of more whispers. And again, my feelings are more complicated. I realize I don't know as much about the Juice Crew. Like I also realize I don't know a lot about I could have did more with the Vapors.
Yeah,
I could have did more with the Vapors. But I did. I loved this so much.
Yeah.
I love this so much. Yeah. I really did.
I do want to call out one other moment because you mentioned Dapper Dan. And Dapper Dan says, I mean, he tells a story about how he used to outfit Biz Markie. But at one moment he says, Biz Markie, and I think he says unlike anyone, but maybe he says like unlike most, would come see me and we just sit there and talk.
Yeah, yeah.
He ain't want nothing.
Yeah.
He just like, hey, stop by, checking in, sit down, and then just talk to me. And we'd sit there for hours talking, right?
Yeah.
And then was it Prince Paul who said that Biz started working in his store at the register?
No, that was Fat Joe.
That was Fat Joe, right?
Again,
right.
it's everybody.
Yeah. Fat Joe had a store,
right?
And Biz just Biz
came and worked behind the counter, and he's already famous.
Yeah,
like at one point they show someone interviewing him in there as he's just dicking around in Fat Joe's store.
Yeah, just because
behind the register.
Just because, and mind you, Fat Joe is probably 2 generations beyond him in hip hop.
Look, the footage of Fat Joe, he looks like he's damn near a teenager.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. You're right. He is the Forrest Gump of hip hop.
Look, does someone have something bad to say about Biz Markie? I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they do.
Like there's a real weird moment with Eric Sermon. Where he talks about, like it sounds like Biz was giving him the business a little bit, pardon the pun, about him and Parrot when they were putting together their demo.
Yeah, and quite as it kept, Master Ace has a similar moment that he talks about when they first met.
Right, when they first, but it seems like, I'm not going to say it was benign. Like I don't want to downplay anyone's pain, but it seems like more kind of boyish,
exactly,
ribbing more than anything else,
which is ultimately obviously what it where it landed, because
like
Eric Sermon is in the documentary,
right? Like dudes kind of mess with other dudes, but
and sometimes you're messing with other dudes to kind of just get a level set,
and there's camaraderie in there.
Exactly.
Like the fact that I'm taking time out to mess with you, right? So,
it's a beautiful testament.
It really is. It really, really is. It's a shame that Sasha Jenkins passed, because I would have loved to see him just sort of move around in this. Because again, I love this period because there's so much I don't know. There's so much I don't know, and it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful.
Indeed.
So, but the question, of course, is: would you recommend it?
Wholeheartedly, I would recommend All Up in the Biz, the documentary. If you are a lover of hip hop, you need to check this out. If you are a fan of Biz Markie, you need to check this out. But if you're just a lover of Black culture, of Black life,
that's right,
Black love between Black men, between Black women, Black friendship, everything, you should see this documentary. What about you?
Oh, absolutely, for every single solitary reason that you just said.
Yeah,
I can add nothing to what you just said, but absolutely.
Got to do it. Got to do it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. That is our review of All Up in the Biz.